Last year, I drove one of the fastest cars I have ever driven. This thing was a monster on the track, and that was the Cadillac CTS-V. And even though it was so track capable, it was the perfect gentleman on the street. It was comfortable, it was luxurious, it was the full package. Well, today we're gonna scale things down a little bit. This is the little brother to the CTS-V. This is the ATS-V. And even though it's smaller, it's just as potent. This ATS-V Coupe kind of looks like the CTS-V, other than this is a coupe with only 2 doors and a mini version of it. In the front, you have that similar 2-part chain-style grille. You get the vertical LEDs, and then of course this has the carbon fiber package, which gives you a carbon fiber air extractor on the hood, as well as a standard carbon fiber hood. You have a huge carbon fiber splitter. The carbon fiber extends down the side with the rocker panels to the rear valence and a huge deck lid, just like the CTS-V. Standard are 18-inch wheels wrapped in super sticky Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires. There is no mistaking this as a V car with those 4 huge tailpipes in the back. So the interior of the ATS-V, very similar to what you'd find in the standard ATS, and a little bit different than what you'd find in the CTS-V because this is a smaller vehicle. Everything feels a lot more compact. The center console here is a lot more compact. This one is equipped with an 8-inch Q system screen. That's a touch screen, and then below it's only a touch system if you're not familiar with the Q system. I'm not a huge fan. I do like dials, but I like the looks of this. It does work quite well. And one thing I do like, it has that haptic feedback, so it kind of vibrates when you touch it. That's really nice. Now, the only problem with having a touch screen opposed to a dial or a trackpad that a lot of the other luxury manufacturers I've went to is that you get a lot of fingerprints. As for connectivity, this thing is connected with everything that you could imagine from GM. You have the OnStar, you have Wi-Fi hotspot, plus 3 USBs easily at hand. Now in the center instrument panel, I wish that this had the same one as a CTS-V. I was a big fan of that. This one, to me, it's a little bit more on the plain side. It does have a 5-inch TFT that is configurable. Now this new ATS-V did come out before the CTS-V of the newer version, so maybe down the road this might adopt the same system as the CTS-V. Overall, a nice feeling interior. If you're going to compare this though to, let's say, the BMW M3 or 4, I'd say it would fall down a little bit in that regards. There is some hard plastics around that you can feel on the door panels, and that's mixed in with this carbon fiber look and this Alcantara, but I'd like to see more of this type of material used throughout the cabin. Now, as for seats, standard are some 16-way adjustable power seats, tons of adjustment, or you get the optional Recaro power seats that we have here, and they're adjustable about 12 different ways. You can control it with the handle, and it shows up on the screen, very comfortable. And one thing that I really do like about Cadillac seats is how they integrate with the rest of the car. Even with your parking aids or your lane departure system, if you're kind of falling asleep or you're just kind of straying toward the other side of the line, it not only notifies you, this one does have a lane assistant that will pull you back in, but it actually vibrates your seat. And it's not just a subtle vibration, it's a really kind of a good jolt, something that kind of surprises you, or if you're going to hit something if you're backing up. So that I'm a huge fan of. Now, as for the back, just like any other 2-door coupe, there's not a lot of room in that back seat for leg room or headroom, but that's to be expected. Good for short trips or emergencies. Okay, lately I'm just really blown away by technology and engines. This is a 3.6-liter twin-turbo V6 engine, and it puts out 464 horsepower and 445 foot-pounds of torque. That's from a V6 engine. That's incredible. Now that's matched to what we have here is an 8-speed automatic transmission, or you can get an optional 6-speed manual, which I wish that we had here. Now, if you do opt for the manual transmission, a couple of neat things about it. First, it has auto rev matching, so for downshifting, you don't have to even do that heel and toe method. It will do it for you, but you can turn that on or off. It has a full throttle shift mode, meaning that you could go and start off in first and you can have your foot to the floor and just shift it into second without lifting. And that of course will shave off a lot of time if you're in a real rush. So how fast is 464 horsepower? Well, think of this. 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, which is pretty well the same as the CTS-V, and that has over 600 horsepower. Like its big brother, this vehicle also has magnetic ride control, which monitors the road 1,000 times per second, ensuring that you have the best proper suspension and handling you could possibly get. And you have your mode button here, and when we choose it, we can tour, sport, track, and snow and ice. It adjusts the suspension instantly, and we are on sport mode right now, and it really is a very sporty feel. And of course it does more than just the suspension. It does the engine mapping, it does steering, and it does transmission as well. Well, unlike the CTS-V where we got to drive it on the track at Road America of all tracks, we are just driving this one how most people will drive their ATS-V, and that's on the street, on the road. You're going to use this as a commuter car or just a regular everyday car. So how does it drive? Well, with that magnetic ride control, like I said before, you can really tune that suspension. Under touring, it isn't really that plush though, so don't expect a really soft ride, even though it just has the Cadillac name. Well, Cadillac has changed now. It's a very responsive ride that you're gonna have. It's not jarring, but it's definitely not cushy. Driving this car almost feels like driving two cars. Sometimes you have a very high performance car that are very high strung, almost like a thoroughbred that just, it's basically all or nothing. And in that zone where you're actually in that nothing zone, it's really not that fun to drive. And sometimes you don't want to drive like nuts either, driving in the high RPMs. This car has very good road manners, just cruising along right now on the freeway. But once you squeeze that right pedal, make that go past about 3,500 RPM, and it just sucks you right back. We got really quick. I'm not gonna even show you how fast that we went there. And now let's talk about stopping now. Stopping, large rotors with Brembo 6-piston Brembo brakes in the front. And just like the CTS-V, you cannot get carbon ceramic brakes as an option. As explained by Dave Looney, the engineer, they don't feel that it's necessary, and these brakes are just fine the way they are. And driving it on Road America with the CTS-V, with that bigger, heavier car, I could see no problem with these brakes whatsoever. Now, one thing that I've noticed is the gas pedal. It's a little bit heavy for me. And what do I mean? Like when you press it, it just feels like there's a lot of tension there. I like something a little bit lighter. And I understand sometimes they do this to give it a more luxurious feel, so you don't have that jerkiness from a light pedal starting off. Now, this 8-speed automatic transmission is a conventional transmission. It is not a dual clutch system, but it is lightning quick. We're doing 90 kilometers an hour right now, and if I just put my foot to the floor, 2 gears, instantly, you'd be surprised how quick it is. And this thing just keeps on pulling. You know, unfortunately, I'm on the street, so I can only pull so far without getting arrested. So, Cadillac, if you are listening and watching this review, I just want to let you know that if you ever need someone to drive one of these cars around a track, I'm available. Oh my goodness, this thing is quick. Really quick. I've been so impressed with the new Cadillacs of late, especially their performance vehicles like the CTS-V and the ATS-V. So does this ATS-V have what it takes to knock out the top dog of that performance spot, the M cars? Well, probably not right away, since that brand has been on top and been around for decades. But considering this car is cheaper, it's quicker, and it's faster than those M cars, it wouldn't really surprise me down the road if V turns into the new M.